So for the longest, about 2 years ago, I started a podcast called Your Yes Is Needed, and the I wanted to do it weekly. Then with time busy, I kind of fell off, and a lot of people always wanted Bibi to be a guest. And for those that don't know, Bibi is one of my road dogs. She's one of my great friends. I call her one of my guardian angels. And in this podcast, my intention for asking her to be on this I haven't done a podcast in a while, and I told her last week. I said I think we need to do a podcast like as soon as possible, and
Right before the new year.
right before the new year. And so here we are, and we're just gonna start talking. We have nothing written down, and I'm hoping to be this organic, honest, raw. I'm not gonna cuss as much because I got kids watching. I got kids follow me
I
now,
don't cuss.
and so wow, we're lying already. And I'm gonna do my best. I'm learning how to find different wordings and not cuss as much. But I'm also like don't want to. We'll just get started. Okay, so the first thing people ask is like, how did we meet? And I always say we met. I spilled her drink on her.
That's correct.
So we met when I was an extreme alcoholic, and that's how we met. And she always says to everyone, if she was still the same person that when she first met, we would not be friends right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be able to deal with that.
Yeah. So people still show her videos and pictures of me passed out, blacked out, and everything. And she has no idea who that person is, which I'm thankful for. But one of the reasons why I wanted to start this podcast because I'm a big believer that like as we get older, a lot of people say like, oh, like they're protecting their peace. They like cutting people off. And I think there's a fine line with that language. You can't live this life alone, and it's not good for man to be alone.
And it's lonely.
It's a lonely world, and so I think you have to be transparent. Honesty, what peace really means. Peace does not mean isolation. So I wanted to talk about like what it means to have like good, genuine friendship in my life. So, I wanted to start off by this story, and this is how it started. The day before I went to Honduras, I said, I need to have a conversation with you. I don't know why, but it feels urgent, but let's just meet up. And the conversation was saying like, I still am, I was diagnosed with, isolation, withdrawals, PTSD, suicidal ideation, major depressive disorder, a long list of things I have a hard time pronouncing, but I'm very aware of the conditions that I was diagnosed with. And one of the things that I needed as I was in recovery, and I'm still in recovery as I'm learning about my mental health and my identity and my character, is that I'm still learning who I am sober. And so when I was drunk for 17 years, to me, I created a great identity by always being around so many people as I thought. And then when you separate from that, you face like so many things. And I needed I didn't know I needed a friend that can help me separate. Is it me or is this a red flag? Is this me or is this a red flag? And I would say that BB gave me that space to be like, no, that's a red flag. No, that's you. No, that's a red flag. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember those days.
It was like a year. And so what's fascinating is the reason why I'm sharing this, like when so many people are in recovery, they want it to happen right away. Like I'm going on 6 years and I'm still learning. And at one point I had so many, like this whole walls was full of words and languages and understanding what emotions was. And I went through like I had at one point I was going through therapy 3 days a week for a year. I mean, it was a ongoing a lot of process. So I'm always I'm always like shocked that people want like the answer right away. Like I'm still looking for the answer. But with that being said, you also need to be in a good position to make sure that you don't push away the people that God sends you. And I'm truly, truly convinced that Bibi is one of them. Now, we both admit that we are prideful. We both admit that we are, and I've learned that my pride took me down a path that got me where I ended up at. And so I also acknowledge that she's still not as much
I've gotten better.
prideful. And so I was like, holy smokes. I believe that it is important that you don't push away who God sends you because you're not going to get another one. You may think you're going to get another one, but God doesn't make mistakes. He's not like, oh, you didn't like that one? And so I had to constantly confront myself. I had to constantly look at myself and go, man, I shouldn't have done that. I messed up, or I apologize. And I just didn't apologize to hurry up and say sorry. Apology is ownership. I had to own what I was doing. I had to face why I was doing it. Then I had to change that behavior. And so that was that's just part of the conversation. But I want to go back to, and I said we were going to talk about this, and you're not going to become defensive.
Nope.
About
What part?
the air conditioning.
The AC. Okay. No, I saw it.
Yeah. So 2 years ago, I'm pretty. Hi, Daniel. There was the summer, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing from the Lord, buy an AC. I was at Walmart and I was like, okay. And I was I was so happy. Like to me, I don't think whatever I don't think whatever I buy materialistically will ever be enough. That's for her the hard to understand. And so I was like, okay, I was so happy to buy an AC. So I went to Walmart and I bought an AC and I was like, hey, I'm coming to our house. I got your AC. And she goes, I don't need your AC. I was like, well, like,
There's a backstory there.
I was like, yeah, like, I know I just didn't buy you AC because I'm here, like, I know I'm supposed to buy you AC. And she was not having it. But she always, like, says that, and I thought she was joking until I showed up at her house.
Yeah, I wasn't joking.
What's the backstory?
I had just spent $17,000 on a new heating and cooling system.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was working. When I bought the AC, it was working.
no, it was not working.
No, I didn't know that.
No, it wasn't working.
No, it wasn't hot yet.
What do you mean? Of course it was hot.
No, I don't think it was that hot yet. I think it was working. It hadn't broke yet. Either it was not super hot yet or it did not break yet. It was one of those. It was one of those, like, you didn't need to buy me an AC. I was like, well, sorry, but I did because I was told to. And she was not having it. Okay, so this is the part where I really want to talk about. And I'm not saying to put her down,
No.
but I want to share something very important about pride and friendship. So I brought over the AC. Now I was happy. I was so happy that I can do this for her. And I remember I pulled up, man, she came out of the house and she was so mean. She had like this face of like, how dare you? And she was just like, she yelled at me. I mean, she was serious. Like, she was so serious. And she was like, I remember her face and she was like, I told you not to bring that AC here. And I was like, man, I ain't gonna lie. I left and I cried because I understand how pride works. I was like, this bitch picked pride over our friendship. And that's what hurt. Not that she said no to the AC. It's the fact that she picked selfishness over our friendship. That's what hurt. And from someone who was who was extremely prideful and extremely like anti don't help me, the anti like I got this, like she just did the one thing and I was like, wow. And I was like, that's your kid. That's your child. That's your friend. I was like, I was like, I know I heard you right. And I talked to her. I was like, you remember?
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, like I said, I had just spent $18,000 on a cooling and heating system, and it stopped working. And I was reaching out to the person that did the work, and obviously not available. Just no communication. So here she shows up. I'm talking to her. I was like, oh my God, it's hot in here. We're like, and then she shows up with this AC. I have a hard time receiving. I know it. I've known it. And I accept it. And I just saw it at that time, like, that's not your problem. This is my problem. This is for me to deal with. This is for me to fix it. It's my situation to deal with. Mind you, I have 2 daughters, and the house was just too hot, right? But I was going to figure it out because I'm so used to figuring it out, right? There's nobody there to solve my problems. There's no problem solvers. It's just me. So I have no other choice in my head, right? To deal with the situation the best way that I can and resolve it. So here she comes with the AC. And I wasn't upset at the fact that she came with the AC. It was more like, how dare you take this opportunity away from me to fix this problem? And obviously, my pride got in the way, and I did. I was not a good friend, and I don't even think I left her in the house.
No, she didn't.
No, I didn't let her in the house.
She threw it back in my car.
Yeah,
I was like, take this away from me.
Yeah, she came carrying it, and I was like, nope, that's not going inside my house. You take that back. I don't want it. And that day, God revealed something to me because I had also gotten a message from him a little while ago. And he said to me,
you didn't tell me this.
Yes, I did.
Oh,
I'm going to put this white lady in your life. And I didn't know where she was coming from. I didn't know who she was. He had revealed that to me years ago.
No, say it. You said a white fat lady.
Yes, it was a white fat lady. But because when I met Sinaida, she was not,
I was about 300 pounds, to be fair.
Yeah, okay. So she was about 300 pounds. But obviously, she had done the work and she had lost some weight. But anyways, so God reminded me when I closed that door and she went away. I told you I was going to put this white fat lady in your life. And like, what are you doing? Right. And I was like, oh my God, this is her. Like, that's when like the light bulb went off. And I was like, wow. Okay. I had no idea where this person was coming from. I didn't know, like, a white fat lady. Right. So I wasn't sure where this person was coming from, but it was so long ago that I had forgotten. But once I closed that door and she drove away, the reminder came in. And obviously that I had to sit with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just learned that last month. And this happened like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
So didn't know Lord called me fat and white. But
He didn't say she was Mexican. He did not say she was Mexican. Because this does not look Mexican.
But could she have still been prideful? Yeah, I've seen it. But because I understand how prideful, let me just share with you how prideful I was, and about the help thing. I used to think that people that asked for help were weak. I used to think that people that went to go seek God were like weak. I was like, you can't figure out yourself. Like, I used to be that prideful.
Oh, not me.
I will admit, I was very arrogant. I was very invincible. I wouldn't even call God God. I'd be like, universe. And so when I got to the depths that I did with my mental health, and when I finally had the courage to ask for help, and I didn't get it, I was like everything just hurt more. Like not only did I finally hurt my bruise my ego to ask for help, and then I didn't get it, and so that just became like a domino effect to why I do what I do now. But now, like 2 weeks later, something happened. Like 2 weeks later, like either it got super hot or something. I don't know. But then she was like, "All right, I'll take the AC." And I did not go, "I told you," because I heard loud and clear. So I was like, "Okay." And I think that was the only working. And I brought like my other AC. I brought two ACs, but I was like, but 3 years prior to that, the year, like 2 years, like 4 years ago, I needed my roof fixed.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, talk about like, so she said that she has a hard time receiving, but doesn't have a hard time giving,
That's true.
doesn't have a hard time saving people, doesn't have a hard time like being the first person. So the hypocrisy was real. Like, first, it was me. I had to ask for a large sum of money to help fix this roof that I neglected. And the more I neglected, the more it cost. And it just caused more damage. And because I did not want to ask her for it, and she kept offering it, I said, "No, I'm going to sell this, I'm going to sell that." And I remember loud and clear, do not sell nothing, ask her for the money. And I cried. So I was in the parking lot in Atlanta.
So yeah, you were in Atlanta.
And I cried so hard. And I said, "I just don't understand why you don't make me sell things so that I can come up with the money." And no answer. I didn't realize till 2 years later that I needed, because anytime someone helped me, I felt like it came with like chains around my neck.
Yeah, like they wanted something in return.
Something
People
in
want to
return.
expect something, right?
And so I needed to see that there was no chains around my neck. It was more like genuine but I needed to go through that to see that. But then all of a sudden, 2 years later, she's in a position and she doesn't even want to take my $50 AC.
Well, it's true. I'm not going to deny it. I do. I've always struggled with receiving. It's, it's something that I am currently working on. And I've gotten better.
She has.
I've gotten better,
A lot better.
It's been a lifelong struggle, and I think that I don't know if it's, culturally, the upbringing, but it's always the fear that someone has something to throw in your face. Like someone has something they're holding something over you, right? And no one wants that. Like you want to be able to do stuff with a clean heart and that things are not going to come up, right? It's just, you do for me, I do for you. Like we take care of each other because, there's love, there's respect, and we got each other's back. Like it's real, right? But growing up, you didn't see that. It's like, oh, I did this for you, I did that for you, and this is how you pay me. And it's hard. It's hard to break that because that's all you know. And then here comes her with a $50 AC. And I'm like, no, you're not going to hold these $50 over my head. But then she needed a new roof, right? And I'm like, why aren't you asking me? How dare you not ask me? Like, how dare you take the opportunity away from me to help you and give you a hand? Like you're not allowed to do that, So it was a learning journey to say.
And it was not $50.
No,
it was not $50. But I will say that I understand now why we have to go through certain things so that you can see who because not only did she help me with that part financially, I did pay her back full. But I also understand, I've learned that I had to, she'll call me out on something and she's like, "You shouldn't have done it like that." And I was like, okay, let me sit with it. Let me find out why I did it like that. Let me see why I reacted. And the same way, because if I can't have hard conversations with you and your job is to defend your bruised ego or your bruised pride, I can't be friends with you. Now, this is the conversation that we had the day before I went to Honduras. I'm going to share.
Mm-hmm.
About 5 years ago, I had a dream where I got real, real, real sick and I was hospitalized. And the first visit, I had all these people come visit me, and they were like, "Oh, are you okay? Do you need anything from you?" And everyone was there babying me and being there for me. But I realized the longer that they were there, the longer I stayed sick. And I said, "You guys gotta go," with the exception of a few people. And the responses, till this day, I remember, their response was so offended that they could not help me. And I said, "You're not helping me. You're keeping me sick." And they were so offended. And I can see familiar faces that I knew. And I asked for a few people. And then when a couple of days later, I was able to come out of the hospital. And I had this dream like 5 years ago. And so I shared with her and I said, "Listen, you can be friends with whoever you want to be friends with. Like, you grown. Like, however, I need to know that you're not a people pleaser to the point where you conform to who they want you to be able to please what keeps them sick. And then when I'm at a place where I need your help or I'm sick, that you're not going to feed the thing that's going to keep me sick, because then we cannot be friends. Because I need to know that you have my back to be like, that ain't it. Hey, you got to go here. Hey, it's time to get checked in." Or, "Hey, you got to go here." Because I need to, like, you, again, you could be friends with whoever you grown. But if you are going to change who you are, to me, I think she has a great anointing. I think she has a powerful voice. It's effective. Like, my whole life has been transformed with the good people in my life. There's impossible to be where I'm at. God is a genius with who he sends. But I also am responsible for constantly checking myself in the mirror and seeing the transparency of my heart, my soul, and my mind. And so I said, if you become someone other than who you were created to be, I was like, I can't be friends, because I don't know, like, I haven't had an episode since 2020. So that's 5 years, going on 6 years now. And so when I'm in that state, it's time to be checked in. So I've had 3 episodes to where the last one I had to be hospitalized in an ambulance, and I had to stay. And so I'm very aware, and I'm very aware of the conditions I have. I'm also very aware of how powerful pride and ego is. I always say pride thinks it's greater than God. Pride is a great liar. It makes you feel powerful, it makes you feel secure, and it makes you feel like you're on top of the world. But in reality, pride shows it's a reminder that you're insecure, that you're weak, and that you are truly alone. That's what pride really is.
Yeah, and I agree, because obviously I think that when I was in that space of my AC, right? Like, yeah, I was afraid, because I was like, how am I going to fix this? I got to figure it out, and I felt weak because I didn't have the answers, right? And obviously fear was there and it was taken over. And now, but slowly but surely, right? Like, you got to do the work. Like, you have to look at yourself. You got to sit back. You got to check yourself and be like, okay, let me take inventory. What's going on? And, you kind of have to come back.
Yes. So with that being said, in the past 5 years we've been friends, God has put us in situations where our pride is always bruised. Always bruised.
A lot.
Always bruised. And I'm like, let it hurt, man. Let it hurt.
Yes.
And then she'll say, like, I don't think you should have handled it like that. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I know why I did that. And so, I think, go ahead.
Well, I just think that, I'm going to continue to meet people. She's going to continue to meet people, right? And if we have the best intentions and we're like, hey, we see this, maybe you should consider this, just kind of give them advice from the heart, right? Because you care from that person. And they're like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. And nothing gets done. You don't see any movement. You don't see any progress. Like, how long are you going to stick around for that, right? Because then you don't need that to bleed into you, right? because you're seeing it. You're like, hey, I really think you should consider this. You should consider that. But you can't do the work for somebody else. Someone has to do the work. And believe me when I tell you that everybody talks about how great it is to heal. It is ugly.
Yeah.
Healing is ugly. If you're not crying, if you're not asking for help, if you're not journaling, if you're not in counseling, like it's ugly. The work, the process, no one said it was cute. It's people only see the other side of it. And like she gets a lot. Oh, you're so lucky.
Oh yeah.
Oh, she's so lucky. They didn't see the nights. They didn't see the phone calls. They didn't hear or the video calls. They didn't see any of that. And it was like, no, the work is being done behind closed doors, right? And she shares it, but no one believes her. She shares it.
I don't think people know like the level of how scary it can get.
Yeah.
And so like this level of peace I have, I glorify God for it because I truly understand the peace that surpasses all understanding. It's impossible to recover from any mental illness without God. It's impossible. I think revelation and the Holy Spirit will take you to the places where it's going to give you the direction where you need to, but it's impossible. And so, and it's so amazing how people isolate themselves and call that peace and they're just protect, like,
yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because protecting your peace by isolating is not dealing or facing. That's not it. You have to challenge yourself. You have to see it. You have to deal with it. You have to face it. And then you have to do the work.
And then you'll be tested.
Correct, because it's not going to feel good.
So then you'll be tested, right? And then the test is going to show you.
Yeah, we still need to work here. We still need some work to do here. Yeah.
I always say, like, I'm not a fan of being tested, but I'm so grateful that there's an answer because you need to see your heart.
It's needed.
You need to see your heart. You need to see where it's at. You need to see how you respond, how you react. Like that's part of the process. And so, like one last thing I want to share. Man, it was in my mind and I forgot man. Let me think about it. Do you have anything to share?
Yeah, well, I was saying, like, sometimes, like, you do all this work. Like, for me, I have my routine in the morning. Like, I read my my daily readings from, like, the Bible, right? And then I listen to my music. So I have my routine. And then, I journal sometimes. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, I got this. And then comes a person or a situation that tests you and you're like, oh, I got to go revisit this. I got to go back to the drawing board because that triggered me. And you thought you had it but then again, I have to be fair to myself. I haven't dealt with it since the last time I dealt with it, right? So I did all the work, the counseling and everything else that comes with it, but I hadn't been put in a situation to get tested or triggered. And now I'm back to the drawing board because I'm like, whoa, why did it affect me like this? Why did it feel so intense? Why do I feel like I'm back in ground zero? But it affects your nervous system. And once it affects your nervous system, you feel it. And the only way to deal with it is obviously being tested and giving it back to the Lord.
Yeah. So I remember. So the reason why I had the conversation with her before I left to Honduras and the reason why the whole AC thing, like it hurt me is because I've understood that safety, emotional safety and emotional security is a huge deal for me. Like yes, I'm a risk taker, but I'm not a risk taker when it comes down to like who's around me. Because I'm still learning, I'm still growing, and I'm still recovering from like how I used to handle things and my reactions and my responses. So emotional and safety and security is a big, big deal for me. What I will no longer tolerate is because I know like pride and manipulation are best friends, in my opinion. For someone who is very, very prideful, I'm going to tell you it's their best friends. And so, to me, when I see your pride showing, I'm like, wow, you rather be selfish, you rather use manipulation, you rather make this about you than our safety, I was like,
Well, I
I'm
think
out.
it's key. I think it's key to know that the setting we provide for those around us is always targeted towards safety.
Always.
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 So like we take people, you know, people's emotions, people's sanity. Like we want a safe environment for everybody, all of those around us. Because if we can't have the hard conversation, the like the transparency, if we can't have that, then we have nothing, right? So if we set up a table for you where safety has been, you know, offered to you, and then the choice is still pride, then what are we doing? Right? Like, that's not it. Because that will trigger things in her, that will trigger things in me, and then we have nothing. We have 3 people dealing with, right? Or 4 people, it doesn't matter how large the group is, right? With dealing with the situation that no one really, like, at least we don't want, right? But sometimes the person needs to understand and feel like they need to be mindful, because sometimes they can't see it, right? Like, let's say, but the choice is theirs at the end of the day.
Yeah, and so like I can't express how much it's a big deal to me. And because I used to be so prideful, like I know what you're doing, and it's just so when she had did that, that's why I was heartbroken. I wasn't hurt that her reaction. Like if you guys know, Bibi's personality can be a little aggressive, but it's not. It's the intention is different. It's a little aggressive sometimes. But the intention is different. The intention is not to protect like how right she is, even though we'll joke around with it, but there's always a hidden intention, and the intention is what matters versus sometimes what you say. And one of the things is that like listen, the Bible says pride and a heart of spirit is the beginning of your downfall. I know. Like firsthand, I got VIP service. And so therefore I'm like, I'm not gonna let you, I can't ride with you, because it's like I know where you're going. And then once you've been introduced and your pride has been exposed, there's no rise. The only thing you can do is lie about your rise, but you are going towards a downfall.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that obviously no one wants to pay. I don't want no one to pay that price, because most people can't handle. You know what the scariest part? Even when I was at my lowest, I still remember going, no, I'm not asking for help. And I remember like, man, like, who am I? Like, and I remember just hearing a soft voice, like, just ask for help. And I was like,
would you say that the not asking for help was, you didn't want help in the emotional part?
Because then I had to admit that I don't got it.
Okay.
Like the same thing, like you said, like I have to admit that I don't got it. And now I'm in a great place where I would gladly say, yeah, I don't got it.
Yeah.
I'd gladly say I'm very confident, but you can be confident, but you must be open to correction all the time.
Yeah.
And so the only thing that kills pride is humility. And a lot of people don't know that. So they just offer false humility for show. And I'm like, man, like, why would you want to feed something that's going to, like, you're going, like, I get it. I did it. But once you're down there, like, it's the scarier part is, it's almost like you can still say no to help. And I think that's the most scariest part. And I never want to go back down there again. And so, I wanted to talk about the friendship part. I know we had a lot of different topics. I wanted to talk about the fact that, and everything that you do, and everything that you're never alone, that God sends the perfect people in your life. Sometimes in the beginning, it doesn't look like they're God sent.
She didn't.
No, like I told you, how I met her, I spilled her drink on her. But that was what, 2017? 16?
2017.
But we didn't become like real friends until like 2019. So we were introduced as like 16, 17. and then 2019. But I had to. The Lord put me in my place about this. The one thing He says, like, you're gonna learn how to be a friend. I thought I knew how to be a friend, but I was always busy. It was like a quick, like, hey, blah blah, like, and then I remember like He checking me. He's like, learn how to be a friend. Pay attention. Be in the room. Be present. Put your phone down. And I was like, oh yes sir. And like, but I was always distracted. I was always like serious, like everything. But I can't use that as an excuse all the time. I had to like put my foot down. I had to like, and I remember one time like her kids gave me a birthday card or a Christmas card,
I think.
and I was like, okay, thanks. And I walked out the door, and I remember like on my way home, the Lord pulled me over. And He was like, don't you ever do that again. I was like, and He was like, you're trying not to feel other people, like people loving you. I was like, oh, like.
Yeah. And one thing about me is I'm extremely protective of my kids. Like, I don't let anybody around my kids, female friends or even male friends. Like, no, like if you've met my children, like I've trusted you. So the fact that my daughters would be like, oh, we want to do this for Desi, and they will put stuff in, she'd be like, okay. It's like, Mom, did Desi say anything? No, she, obviously she didn't say anything to me, right? But I'm like, yeah, she said she loved it. So I was like, and I'm like, so I was like, I'm going to put you on speaker, you're going to say this, so the girls are like, oh, okay. So they don't think they.
No, I did call. I pulled over.
Yeah.
And I did call and I said, put me on speaker.
Yeah.
And I told the girls, thank you. And I apologize for not. And that he put the first 3 years, he put me in my place a lot. Like, he was like, and I was always busy. Like, for the longest, like, busy was my other drug. Busy. And he was like, you're gonna put everything down and you're gonna have dinner. Like, you're gonna put your phone down. You're gonna be you're gonna be present. I'm like, okay. The thing is, I didn't know I was doing that.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know that I was not like attentive or she was
present, yeah.
Or she would say something, then all of a sudden I'll be like, make it about me. Or she'll talk something and I'll interrupt, like, hey, did you know that, I didn't know, I didn't know how to have conversations. I didn't know, like, how to be a listener. But I didn't know I was not doing that. And so, but she never, corrected me. The Lord corrected me in,
No, I think it's important to let people have their space, right? Like, I'm huge on that. Like, I want you to be you. I want to take you in as you are, and then we can stop working on stuff, right? But in this case, God did all the work, and then she'll come back and be like, okay, this, and this. Like, even recently. So my dog died.
Oh yeah, I was a terrible friend with that part.
That was my boo. I had Gabi for 15 years, and Gabi passed away January of 2021. Mm-hmm. And obviously she was already in my life. She already knew. And, I'm like, okay, I got to put him down, and I dealt with that. And right after he died, I went on vacation. My aunt was celebrating her 70th birthday. It was a surprise. So I went, and I was a mess. I was not a good person to be around that time because I was in so much pain. I love this dog, and he was a really important member, of my family, right? And me and her, never discussed it. It was just, okay, my dog died and I went away and I dealt with it. And, I had to put my daughter into counseling. That's the first time my daughter started counseling because of the death of this dog, and, we're still in counseling, right? Because of life. But yeah, she never just very nonchalant until recently.
It was the year where I was like, is this a red flag or is this me? Is this right?
No, it
was about me.
And then until recently.
Yeah, recently.
She called me and she's like, I owe you an apology. Mm-hmm. I'm like, about what? And she's like, about Gabi dying. And I'm like, Gabi died almost 5 years ago, 4 years ago. She's like, yeah, but I was not a good friend during that time.
Yeah, it's Papa Dios reminded me. You did not acknowledge it. I was like, you're right, I did it.
It was just so random, right? Because Gabby passed 4 years ago, and I'm getting this phone call. It was this year.
Mm-hmm.
It was this year, and Gabby passed away, like I said, January of 2021. So I was like, what? Like, are you all right? And she's like, no, like seriously, like this is, I need to get this off my chest. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna hear you out. And I heard her out, and it was like, okay, the Lord's still doing His work 4 years later.
I think another thing I'm learning is that I don't want to be so busy that I don't hear. And it's like all the answers are there, and like everything I want is right in front of my face. And I'm like, what, I'm too busy for the Lord that the Lord is not there? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. And so I think what I do is I think I have a great life. I think what I do with serving and outreach and the gym and like, I think that's all great. But I think it's great is because I have great people in my life. I'm able to express, I'm able to vent, I'm able to cry, I'm able to empty out, I'm able to refill, and I'm able to do things successfully because of these people. And I think one thing I've learned is that it's important to keep the people who have been called in my life. And I've learned that. And so I have no problem picking up the phone and go, I messed up. Or I owe you an apology from something that happened 4 years ago. So, yeah. Any last thoughts?
No, I think that it's great. I feel like I appreciate, like in your 20s, you have so many friends, there's so many people in and out of your life. And, these type of friendships that, you can hold each other accountable, you can call each other out, and knowing that it's coming from a good place, right? And, and the Lord is with you. It's not just you saying whatever you're saying, right? Just for like shits and giggles, right? Like it's valid information. It's information that's going to transform you, right? That's going to make you grow. There's growth in it. And obviously your well-being overall, those are priceless, right? And that's why I say, like, if I knew her in her drunk days, like, no, because there was none of that. I had some of this, with my group of friends that I did hang out with in my 20s, but, some live far away, some have moved states. And there's others that are just, living their life like everybody else, right? So it takes work. It's a relationship at the end of the day. In every relationship, takes work. You have to put in the work. You have to be present. You have to be intentional. And I think that's one thing our friendship has taught us. Like, I already knew that, but the extent of the work that needs to be put in, it's almost the same as being in a romantic relationship, right? If you want to keep that. So I'm grateful for my fat white lady that came into my life. Papa Dios put in there. And I embrace her. I love her. And we're here for the long run.
I know. I just learned this like last month. What?
I didn't know she was gonna be Mexican.
Yeah, well, no one does. But yeah, I hope if anyone watches the full thing that that you will. We were having lunch earlier. Like, I had a best friend when I was in the Navy. I admit I messed up. I was very arrogant, very selfish with that, and I messed up. And I remember when I started getting, turning my life around slowly back in 2018, slowly. That I remember like something was like reach out and apologize, and I was like, yo, I'm sorry. You want to talk and talk about it. It was very like nonchalant, whatever. And I missed a phone call, and then I got the response was like, I don't think we should be friends or whatever. And I was like, well, I tried, and I got convicted. And I remember like that's not an apology. An apology is ownership. And then was like, I take full responsibility for my behavior, I messed up. It was not you. It was not me. And I think shortly after that, that's when I met her. We started becoming friends. So I do believe in second chances, but I do believe that you're responsible for accountability and ownership. And because the way I look at it, God is very protective of who He sends, and because He's already filled them with the tools and the equipment that that person's need to be able to be in that friendship, relationship, ministry, team, whatever. And so I don't take that for lightly. And so I hope you guys enjoy the podcast. I hope you guys got something out of it. If you have any questions, you should reach out to Bibi.
Reach out to me or leave a comment and Desi will get back to you.
She's getting better at the social media stuff.
I know, I'm trying.
And so
I'll post this one though.
yeah, she'll post this
Yes.
one. And so yeah, and then we'll hopefully maybe there'll be more, but yes, thank you for joining.